Feeling your side. King Chaka ENT. Y'all can check out the music on Spotify, Apple, and other services. I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? KCE, King Chaka.
Hey, how y'all doing out there? How y'all feel? Remember, an educated public cannot be controlled. Learn to be active. Podemos ayudarnos más? Si se puede. ¿Cómo estás? How y'all feel? I'm not gonna do a monologue. I think I'm gonna get away from doing the monologues. If y'all like the monologues, let me know, and we will come back to them or whatever. But I don't know about the monologues, so I'm kind of thinking that I'm losing the audience with them. So we're gonna just go into stuff, and that's gonna be the format from here on. Unless you guys let me know different. So, am I sharing? I'm sharing. Am I sharing? Yes, I'm sharing. And y'all can hear me, right? Let me double check this. Okay. Yes. Anyway, let's go right into it right here. This is BBC. It says figures show maternal death rate, race disparity. Let's take a look at this real quickly. So it says figures show maternal death rate, race disparity. This is BBC one day ago by Jennifer Harby. It says figures show the risk of maternal death being almost 4 times higher among women from Black ethnic minority groups backgrounds compared with white women in the UK have been published. So this is in the UK. It says the figures which relate to 2019 and 2021 have been released by Embrace UK, a collaborative involving the University of Leicester. The researchers called for a move towards more inclusive care. The NHS said it wanted to ensure all women received high quality care. The Embrace UK collaboration, Mothers and Babies Reducing Risk Through Audits and Confidential Inquiries, led from Oxford Population Health's National Perinatal Epidemiology Unit, looked at data on women who died during or up to 6 weeks after pregnancy between 2019 and 2021 in the UK. The report showed the risk of maternal death in 2019 and 2021 was almost 4 times higher among women from Black ethnic minority groups compared with white women. The figures also suggest women from Asian backgrounds also continue to be at higher risk than white women, and that women living in the most deprived areas had a higher maternal mortality rate than women living in the least deprived areas. Let's see, it says inclusive care. Researchers found complications as a result of COVID-19 was leading cause of maternal death in the UK between 2019 and 2021. Marian Knight, professor of maternal and child population health at Oxford Population Health and Maternal Reporting Lead, said persistent disparities in maternal health remain. It is critical that we are looking towards more inclusive care where women are listened to, their voices are heard, and we are acting upon what they are telling us. Elizabeth Draper, professor of prenatal and pediatric epidemiology at the University of Leicester, said, "We have been working to produce more detailed and timely mortality data in order to support trust in health boards to monitor the rates. This will enable them to act quickly as possible to address any potential issues of their mortality rates show an increasing trend compared to other similar healthcare providers." The report follows a recent call in the Women and Equalities Committee Black Maternal Health Report for more rapid publication data. An NHS spokesperson said the NHS is committed to ensuring all women receive high quality care before, during, and after their pregnancy. Health systems have been provided with €6.8 million to reduce health inequalities, and maternal teams must follow robust guidelines so they provide high quality care to every family. So that's a very light as freaking article on this freaking topic. I saw something recently where it was the baby was being born and the doctor freaking pulled the baby's freaking head off. And then they were trying to get the people to sign papers to say that it wasn't their fault and all this. Like, the father was there, saw the baby coming out, and he said he saw her move the head and swallow or something like that. Like, so they knew the baby was alive. So basically, the doctor killed the baby. This thing happens a lot, it's a result of the way a lot of these doctors are trained. A lot of the information dates way back. The manuals go way back to a time where things weren't the way that they are now, as far as our view of race and its differences. Like, they feel like Black women have a high tolerance for pain, all of this kind of stuff. Now, you can argue about, environment. You can argue that it's because the moms haven't been taking care of themselves well enough, and you can argue that that is a result of, not having as much income or whatever, being in a deprived type of environment or whatever, being poor. But I was in a class. I took a class. I can't remember the name of it right now. But in that class, we talked a lot about this particular topic. So there's a lot of data out there that supports what they're saying in this article, about how, Black and Hispanics, the moms die too. The babies die and the moms die a lot more than white women. The data is there. Look it up if you don't believe me. Now, why that is a question, care is what I would say, care, not getting the same quality care and not getting the same kind of like, where compassion is another word, not getting the same compassion, and sometimes, sometimes it's just mistakes and accidents. And sometimes I think it's nefarious, like straight up murder, and I think that's happening. It's a thing that needs to be addressed that doesn't get talked about much. This came across my timeline and it caught my eye. I was really hoping this article was a little more in depth, but I guess they're afraid to really just go into this topic because it's really, really touchy. It gets a lot of people into their feelings. But whoever you're out there listening, go look up the data on this particular topic. Like, just type it in your search bar and see what pops up. And I'm willing to bet you'll be surprised, because a lot of people don't think that this is happening. They don't know that it's happening and doesn't get talked about, And it's a real thing. It's not made up. It's a real thing. There's data to freaking support this. So, anyways, what do I want to go into now? Let's see. I want to make sure I don't show anything I don't need to be showing here. Give me a second, y'all. This one, it says a South Carolina man was having a mental health crisis. He was suicidal in his truck with a shotgun aimed at himself. His mother was outside the truck trying her best to calm him down. The police were called to help, but when they showed up, they went straight to escalation. Now, I saw this story. I don't want to say wrong, but I want to say they killed this guy. And even the mom got hit. Let's see, do they talk about it? Okay, here a little bit. The comments, it says, am I sharing this? It says, the police opened fire while his mother was still standing at the door of the truck. They shot at least 50 times and hit the suicidal man 9 times. There are clips of the cam and photos on the page of the article. So there's an article connected to this. Where's the article? I don't want to play the video. I saw a video of this and I don't want to play that. I don't like it when they do that. Is this in it? I don't want to play the video. Hold on. Did it actually play the video?
A man shot by York County deputies now suing the sheriff's office. Attorneys for Trevor Mullinax releasing this body cam video from May of.
I hope they don't play the actual fucking video. I don't like that shit.
2021. Lawyers say he was shot 9 times while having an emotional breakdown in Rock Hill. He managed to survive. Officials later charging Mullinax with that.
Oh, he lived. Okay. Well, he lived, so that's good.
Deputies, but he continues to deny those claims. Wake Up Show's Tradisha Woodard now live for us outside the sheriff's office there. Tradisha, Mullinax and his family set to talk about their new lawsuit later today.
That's right, Ben. And the family is planning to lay out their argument around 11 o'clock this morning. Take a look at this video. It shows the moments leading up to the shooting.
Pause. Her eyebrows are really bothering me.
Now, Mullinax's attorney says he was basically sitting in the truck, May 2021, having an emotional breakdown and was contemplating suicide. And the lawsuit says a family member called 911. And when the sheriff's deputies arrived, Mullinax's mother was speaking to him through his window. Lawyers say deputies opened 50 rounds and later charged him with pointing and presenting a weapon. Warning, due to the graphic nature of this video, we will only be showing you the moments leading up to when the deputies fired their guns.
Hands. Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands.
Now, the law firm says Mullinax did have a shotgun in his truck, but he had no intent of harming anyone but himself. Of course, we did reach out to York County Sheriff's Office and are currently waiting to hear back. Reporting live for Wake Up Charlotte, I'm Tradisha Woodard.
Okay, what do you back the blue people have to say about this? Like, this guy is suicidal. He's threatening to kill himself, and you guys show up on the scene and shoot him. Like, is that what you thought was gonna help this guy? He needed some lead. Let's go ahead and let's help him get there faster. Like, I mean, I'm laughing, but it's not funny. You know, it's you have to laugh because it's so horrible. Like, the guy is already on the edge, thinking about killing himself. His family member calls the police. The police shows up and shoot him. Like, what the F? Like, I be saying all the time that these guys, all they do is escalate situations. Like, they make it worse. Whoever was the family member who called the police, they shouldn't have. That was probably the worst decision to make. Like, they probably had a better chance of talking him down without the police being there. Like they lucky he lived. They lucky the mom lived. She got hit too.
They were trying to save him from going to hell.
I guess so. They're trying to save his soul.
Well, you know,
Damn.
I mean, you know, when we was growing up, well, I don't know, when I was growing up, they say if you kill yourself, that's a sin,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
know.
it's somewhere. It's somewhere in the book. It's somewhere in there. I can't remember what the scripture, exactly what the scripture says, but it's in there. So, but yeah, that's effed up. What do you think about that, man? Like they call the police, the guy's about to kill himself, and they end up shooting him. Lucky he made it out of it alive. He got hit 9 times. They let loose 50 rounds. Hit the mom too.
Horrible shots. Then
I guess so. Like, gosh, they need
There's
some training all
about
kinds of
5
ways.
of them. There's
And I
about
couldn't
5
tell.
cops.
I don't know. In the video, it looked like I only saw like 3, but it might have been some outside of the screen.
Because they usually unload, but it's like yeah, that's I don't know, some bad shooting. Unless they were trying to just
Neutralize them. But you're shooting
yeah.
into a vehicle, so it's not like you can really see your target that good. So, no, I can't even give them that. I won't even give them that. Nope, I won't give them that. They felt in danger of their lives, so that's the reason why they pulled the trigger, because the guy had a weapon. So maybe he's gonna shoot them. So then they shoot him first. That's what they were thinking. But I mean, again, I understand the risk. I understand the danger. But if it's a guy who's see, that's where I feel like this is where when people talk about defund the police, someone not with a weapon should have showed up on that scene. You know what I mean? Maybe they had the person with the weapon kind of off to the side, and they had somebody else there who was, a psychologist, a psychiatrist or something, someone who had training to deal with these kinds of situations, like they obviously, like I say, they use a hammer for every problem,
No,
They,
I don't think it should be an armless person going to someone that's armed, but there should be a certain level of protocol. A way to, you know, try to de-escalate the situation.
this is
If
just crazy to me, because they were in no danger until they showed up to the scene. You get what I'm saying? Like, they created their own danger. You know what I mean? Like, you're putting yourself into the danger. I don't really have no sympathy for you in that situation, because, well, then just let the dude blow his head off. You know what I mean? You escalated the situation and put yourself in danger. And then you feel like you're in danger, so now you got to shoot the guy. He was there in the middle of the field with nobody else at risk but himself.
Well, I mean, once they're called, I mean, the training that they have, that's what they're utilizing, and that's what they're pretty much taught. They're taught to be little bitches, and to, they like, I mean, that's like, they're gonna most likely shoot in a situation like that. And if us as citizens or nationals or whatever the person happens to be, by you inviting them there, that's pretty much what you're asking for.
I'm telling you, that's fucking sad. Don't call the police. If your people is suicidal, don't call the cops. You probably got a better chance of talking them down yourself. Call their psychiatrist or something. Call somebody, one of their friends or something, somebody that knows them really well. Don't call the police.
His girlfriend, who?
Yeah,
because you never get to the root of the problem. Like, I mean, they're not coming to solve or cure the issue. That, like,
that's what I'm saying.
They're going to use massive force.
If a hammer is your tool that you use for everything, then everything is going to be a nail. So you're going to be trying to hammer that nail for all situations, and that's not cool at all.
I would say cops misuse their guns more than anybody else.
I'm telling you, man, this is emotional for me. Like, I don't care about, like, people like to get racial when it comes to this type of thing, but it's like the cops killing people, shooting people. is it doesn't matter what color their skin is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why do you got to interject race into this? Let's just look at the base of this and look at the reality of it. You're avoiding the problem when you start talking about race in this situation, because it's like, regardless of what their race is, they shouldn't have showed up popping at this guy. Like, doesn't matter. In this situation, it's a white guy, so the media don't pick up on these stories as much. But this one caught my eye. Sorry, it went down my timeline. That's the reason why I wanted to kind of touch on it a bit. But these kind of stories are so emotional for me. It's hard for me to talk about them. Let me ask you this. Did you hear the story I did right before this one about the mortality rate of infants and moms, of color? This was in UK.
I heard some of it.
Had you heard that was a problem before? I think a lot of people aren't aware that that's a problem.
What, in the UK or worldwide?
Here in the States too. It's a real problem here in the States too. This story came out of the UK, but it's a real problem here.
Well, I mean, our history. Was it Roberta Lax or something? They used to do experiments on black women without anesthesia or anything like that, because they supposedly are stronger and can handle pain.
And a lot of the medicine and procedures that they have that are in place today came from those experiments, like the speculum. That guy, he came up with a lot of stuff, and he was just experimenting on slave women, and just, he didn't care about if they died. A lot of them died as a result of the experiments.
They purposely did that.
But what's killer about that is that they still use that stuff. Like, a lot of that stuff is in the manuals. Like, the truth is, it's hard to do experiments on humans, you know what I mean, legally, to be able to find proper procedures or find proper utensils or tools that's going to work to get whatever job done that you're trying to do. So he really advanced medicine here in the States in a lot of ways. And they haven't been able to do any kind of experiments like those since then. So that's why they still use that stuff. They don't have anything better.
Truth is, we are tougher. But regardless, the way you handle a human being should be, universal. Like, just because somebody shows signs of, handling pain better, because you can go through 400 years of suffrage and you're still here. It's the kind of mentality that some of them have, but it's like, no, regardless, whatever's good for the goose should be good for the gander. Like, if you are a doctor, really, anywhere, you know what I'm saying? Like, treat people the same, fairly. That way you don't get it messed up. If there's a high tolerance, just because somebody has a higher tolerance of pain doesn't mean that they should have to that has to be exercised, so.
Yeah, so to this day, women of color, even when they complain about their pain or they ask for pain pills or whatever, a lot of times the doctors are a lot more slower to give them stuff for
It's
pain.
not just the doctors, it's nurses. There's female nurses that can relate and will still be like, whatever, like,
you'll be fine. Suck it up.
You're just complaining, and oh, well, I just gave you some. Oh, you're an addict, or like, oh, really? So because I'm in pain and I'm asking for some help, I'm in the hospital, and you're supposed to, like, okay, if it is too soon for me to take a certain thing, okay, find something else. You know what I'm saying? Rub my back, damn it, shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever you can do, because I know that, like, with certain medications you can only take so much in a certain period. But just the idea, like it's, like that's how much insanity is in this world. Because I mean, even like our doctors and our nurses and you know, like people that we hold in high regard are ill too. Like I don't think anybody gets missed in this country. The indoctrination of the medical business, I'm gonna say, because that's mostly what it is. It's pretty much to be able to sell you drugs or some kind of procedure that they can make a bunch of money off of
It's
in the
so
first place.
archaic, and a lot of our medicine still. I think we're way behind in a lot of ways. A lot of
Well, no,
ways.
we went backwards over the last 100 years because I mean, even because see, I believe in that both you know typical the old system along with maybe some new processes can be used together, but if you just say only one is better than the other, because I mean really to keep from getting sick is probably the better route, and
Yeah,
that's what
preventative
that's what
medicine, which we don't have. It's kind of the same thing with our criminal system.
no, we
It's
have it. It's just not.
punitive.
It's not promoted. We have it. Like there's things that you can do to prevent yourself from getting sick, but that's not getting promoted everywhere. Your doctor's not going to tell you about that because they don't make money off of that.
Yeah, they make money off of you being sick and being hurt. So, but I always think about the example of like in World War II. I want to say it was World War II. You guys, hopefully I'm right about this, but
With us in the 40s.
when they would just cut the limb off, like if it was an injury, on your foot or whatever, they would just like cut your leg off at the knee and shit like that. You know what I mean? Your arm, whatever. Like that was and the medical people on the battlefield, they had a saw with them. That was one of their main tools that they had in their little bag. And they would just saw off that limb, and then bandage it up. And that's how they dealt with
Ugh.
those gruesome ass injuries to keep infection down and so forth and so on. That's the reason why
Well,
you had so many of them who came back with missing limbs, is because if they would just cut it off. Got shot in
Well,
the
I
foot or
mean,
something.
I think that based on, especially during those times, like I mean, they were learning different things, but you on the battlefield, there's no like sending you into surgery like that. Like it's on a lot of things, probably
But there
most
was
things.
plenty of things that
Eh,
they could have done. They
But
don't do that now, and
okay,
they don't
yeah,
have
no,
no triage.
I
I mean, they don't have no freaking NICU or whatever the hell. They don't have no fucking out in the
well,
battlefield today. But they're not gonna just cut your
well,
limb off.
when people are looking at the fact that how as many cases of gangrene that has happened, that was the best solution I think at the time.
With the given
And
knowledge that they had at the time. That's what I'm saying. They didn't have very much knowledge to
well,
deal with them situations properly. They
true.
didn't, and that's the problem. And that's what I'm saying. The reason why I brought that up is because that wasn't that damn long ago, and our
Well,
medicine hasn't come that far. We still have that cut shit off attitude. So what happens when you have a cancer? What's the first thing that they try to do? They go in there and they try to cut the cancer out of it. Cut
well,
the
yeah,
cancer out.
they go in there try to cut as much of the cancer out as possible, but then the second and third things are probably the worst, which is chemo and radiation. Like those things are not gonna send your
And
body into
and I was reading about that guy, the guy who came up with the chemotherapy, and I think that goes back to World War II. He was working on, it was a war weapon he was using. It was a chemical warfare this guy was working on,
Mhm.
and after the war, he changed it to cancer treatment, and it's basically the same shit. It was a biological weapon. So now they use it to cure people.
What, the radiation?
I don't want to say it wrong, but I want to say it is the chemotherapy.
It's the chemotherapy. Okay. Well, I mean, either way, it's pretty much poisoning your body and weakening your entire immune system. Where, like, because I mean, to me,
And that was its original use. That's what it was
yeah,
developed to do.
and the thing about it is that anything that's only works 3 out of 10 times usually is considered a failure.
And that's what I be saying all the time is, so the person who has cancer and then they die, did they die from the cancer or did they die from the damn chemotherapy?
Most likely the chemo. And I mean, I'm sure there's some extreme cases where the cancer was that far set in, but at the same time, there's a lot of things that we know now based on, us not, just only listening to these indoctrinated doctors. There's people who are actually, doing the work to see that the natural medicines are better than the pharmaceuticals. So in most cases, because like I said, I mean, I'm sure there's cases where, some of these other some new processes might work, but for the most part, when we're talking about medication, most of the medications that is made up by the pharmaceutical companies will really damage you more in the long run. It's not set to, created to cure you. It's just for you to be tolerable of it throughout a good period of time. Because
So
even
you
though
can
the
keep
the
having to
active
take it.
the active ingredient is in there, so instead of giving you the 90% level of that active ingredient, they give you a 45, 50%, and then the rest of it is fillers, so that they can patent it, they can do different things and give you a product that will subside some of the issues to some extent, maybe.
And then you have to take another drug for the side effects,
Well,
and
once your body
on and
gets used,
on.
once your body gets used to that drug, and it's not really working anymore, they'll
And
find something
they
else
give you
that they
these
can give
damn
you.
heart medications and shit that you have. If you once you start taking it, you have to take it for the rest of your life, or you'll die. That's so crazy. Let's move on. Let's talk about guns for a minute. I don't want to stay on this topic too
Oh
long because
Lord.
we end up talking about this for a long time. So I really don't. I'm a abruptly try to move to another subject. But
Okay, that's fine. I'll be ready to go when you are.
so Texas tried to was it Texas? I want to say they kicked out a law for 18 to 21-year-olds to be able to buy assault rifle, because they were trying to come up with a law that said 18 and 21-year-olds can't buy assault rifle, but it got kicked out. And in another state, I want to say Missouri, they passed a law where 18 to 21-year-olds can't buy, I think it was handguns. I'm not sure exactly what the weapon was, but they have done the studies where a lot of these shootings are done by people within that particular age range. So they feel like that could have an impact on it. So that's the reason why they're saying that.
So maybe they should, if they do have one or they can get one, it is endorsed by someone, like co-signed by a parent or someone that will be responsible to some extent of the training and or to
Well, this
give
law
some
would
sort of assessment.
it would
That's it.
exclude them from being able to legally purchase whatever particular firearm if you're in that age range.
Yeah, because I mean, typically the 18-year-old, the 21-year-old, the average, then they don't they're not buying guns at that age, unless it's like one of those family generational, like they grew up with guns already and they're probably already highly trained with guns. But the average 18 to 21-year-old probably can't even afford those guns. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, the data has come out that a lot of the shootings occur, and it was in that age range. That's the reason why they're trying to
yeah,
focus on weapons.
but that doesn't mean that they are the ones that's actually affording those guns. Cause I mean that's just like the dude in Uvalde. We talked about it. The dude was fucking broke. He had fucking run over shoes. He was getting drove about how he dressed, but he spent money. You know, a teenager actually spending money on a gun instead of trying to, if being talked about was a problem. He probably would have bought him some nicer clothes, even if it was from Walmart. But buying like $3,000 worth of guns, and I don't forget how many, how many thousands or hundreds more on ammunition, bro. Somebody say, bro, nobody really wants to believe it. Like, I would, I don't want to believe it, but it just, when you use common sense, it shows that there's somebody who's funding these types of
Well,
acts.
those people need to be arrested too. I saw one case. I can't remember what it is now. Like I'm all over the place. I apologize, you guys, but it was someone who did a shooting, and it was in another country. Yes, it was in another country. It was it Brazil? And they did one of these kind of mass shootings at like a school or whatever, and the parents were arrested. They arrested the parents.
Okay.
So I think that that's what we need to be doing here in the United States, and then the parents can be paying more attention to their kid and what the hell they're doing, because they're going to be like, you're not going to get me locked up. I'm not going to go to jail behind your shit. They need to be held accountable so that they can pay more attention, because they're the ones closest to the situation. They're the ones who probably have the most power to keep from this thing happening.
Well, and I mean, I think that is possible, and I mean, I don't think there's many parents that's gonna recognize their children going through an issue and just turn them in. There's some parents that will do that, but that's rare. That's
They
not
don't have
like,
to turn them in. They could take the guns away from them. They can lock them in the basement or
but
whatever the hell.
but no, but what about because I mean, you think that kid in Uvalde walked in the house with those guns and his grandparents didn't ask where they came from or nothing?
That's what I mean. The parents, grandparents, whoever, they had to know
But
something.
yeah, but see, that's what I'm
So
trying to.
hold them
I'm trying.
accountable.
Well, I hear what you're saying, but that's surface, and that doesn't even really prove that the grandparents even know anything about it, because like a lot of these kids are on 4chan and 8chan, and they're on in these different groups, and before they go do these crimes, doesn't mean that they pass through their parents and their grandparents or whoever. Be like, okay, what do you think? How does this one look good on me? Or
Well, then,
like
but if you're
they
holding
may.
them accountable, then it'll force them to pay more damn attention. Look and see what the hell your kid is doing. If you get a feeling that
Well,
they're
they
up to
they
some
they should
bullshit,
they
then you
should
need to
do
be
that.
all up in their shit.
They should do that as well. They should be more nosy in their children's lives. What's going on? Talk to them. Like, I mean, most of these kids probably wouldn't have as big of issues if they actually had parents that wasn't fucking bullshitting their children and lying to them and not acting like the real shit that's happening in this world is not. Like, I mean, I think that's what a bigger problem is with our young people, is that people don't keep it fucking real with them and just kind of like try to give them some basic understanding. Some of them are like so scared of what, some of the shit, because like they're trying to understand it on their own. And I know some of these parents don't get it or understand they damn self, but still it's just like there will be a lot less mental health issues if people talk to each other more, understood more what, the world that's going on around them, all like the funny feelings that they have. Okay, well, yeah, when I was a kid I had weird feelings. Well, hey, like,
Yeah, but something needs to motivate these parents to be more involved. And I think holding them
well,
criminally
the
accountable
government
is
doesn't
something.
the government really doesn't want them to. Like, I mean, that's not, let's not act like, our government is really like promoting parents having more involvement. Like, I mean, the I mean, I look, hell, I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I think there's a lot of common sense that goes along with my theories, and I don't believe that, like, the kids belong to the government, and that's what they believe, and that's why they can tell parents that they can't tell their children not to do something because
Yeah.
they just
Yeah.
said they could.
Well, the reason why I brought it up is because something has to be done. Um, the mall shooting happened earlier this week, right? So yeah, we texted about it. So I thought that we talked about it on the show, but we couldn't have because we did the show last week, and the shooting happened at the beginning of this week, right? Like Monday, Tuesday, or something like that, right? The
Was
Texas
it?
mall
No,
shooting. It's
the mall shooting was last week. We did talk about that. It was the car. It was after the show when we had the Hispanic guy whoever it was that ran over some of the immigrants.
okay, yeah. So we talked about the mall shooting.
Yes, that's where you threw a fit at. That's where we talked about the guns and trying to take. That might have been 2 weeks ago
No, it hasn't been that long. I
because
know it's more
it's
recent than 2 weeks.
yeah, it's been a while. No, it's been at least it's been over a week for sure. Like, because you came in and you talked about it, and that was like, because you're like upset with me and Doc because we didn't agree with that we just need to start taking guns from people because of that. Like there's a
Well,
bigger play
well,
going on.
something needs to be done because this is all the way out of control. And charging the parents, I think, is a good step. Let me play this. This is MSNBC. Jamie Bowie. I didn't watch this video, y'all, so I don't even know what they're finna say. But Jamie Bowie on conspiracy theories about Texas mall shooter. There are people who are so strenuously committed to the idea of an unlimited gun ownership that the fact that it does allow someone like an avowed neo-Nazi to accumulate weapons is discredited. Hold on. What did I do? Is it an article related to this? Let's just play this.
In this story, that it not be a Nazi who shot these people up.
Hold on, let me take it back.
I'm just curious what you thought about this
Come on.
attempt to so strenuously deny a thing where it's like, what's it to you?
Right.
What is your investment
Right.
in this story that it not be a Nazi who shot these people up?
I've been struggling with this as well because I want to be charitable, right? You don't want to just assume that your ideological opponents or people you disagree with are just like sympathetic in any way to this sort of thing. But the
Come on.
refusal to just outright say, yes, that guy was a Nazi.
I have too much stuff open.
That's horrible.
Identified, and
It's
it's
not
horrible.
surprising that a person with that horrible idea.
Hold on, let me close this one.
Ideology did something horrible.
I think the most charitable way you can think about it is that
Come on.
there are people who are so strenuously committed to the idea of basically unlimited gun ownership that
Come on.
the fact that it does allow
You still there, huh? Hello?
My bad. How long have I been out? I was fucking with the Wi-Fi. I didn't even know that I went out.
Probably a good 3 minutes, about a couple
Damn,
minutes.
that's fucked up. That's fucked up. I'm sorry, y'all. I apologize. Hopefully, I fixed the Wi-Fi issues though. I was not hooked up to my extender. I was hooked up to the regular Wi-Fi, which has where I'm at is really far from the router. So I went and bought an extender. Anyways, am I sharing? Did y'all get any of this video I was trying to play? No?
I'm just
I didn't
curious
see it.
thought about this this attempt to so strenuously deny a thing where it's like, what's it to
Come on.
you?
Right.
What is your investment
Right.
in this story that it not be a Nazi who shot these people up?
Come on. I should be good, man.
I've been struggling with this as well because I want to be charitable, right? You don't want to just assume that your ideological opponents or people you disagree with are just like sympathetic in any way to this sort of thing. But the refusal to just outright say, yes, that guy was Nazi,
And that's horrible. And it's not surprising that a person with that horrible ideology did something horrible.
I think the most charitable way you can think about it is that there are people who are so strenuously committed to the idea of basically unlimited gun ownership that the fact that it does allow someone like an avowed neo-Nazi to accumulate weapons and then use them, that is sort of discrediting, right? Like it begins to, when you begin to ask the question, well, who exactly is a law-abiding American? And it can be a neo-Nazi until the moment they decide they're not going to be law-abiding anymore. And it's because
Come on.
people in favor of gun regulation are constantly making the point, you cannot know when that moment's going to be. You have to keep these kinds of weapons out of the hands of people.
Anyways, y'all get his point.
And the reality of the shooter in this case is a threat to those who want to push back against that notion.
I'm just curious what you saw.
So basically, it's like, the argument I make about people shouldn't have the assault rifles. And but then they argue that, a law-abiding citizen should be allowed to have the weapons. But then, they know that this guy was a neo-Nazi or whatever, crazy guy with all this stuff he had on his social media. And I'm sure that a lot of the pro-gun people don't really want people like that to have access to the weapons. But it's like, you got to allow everyone to have access to the weapons. He's a law-abiding citizen all the way up until the point where he decides to do a mass shooting.
Well, I think that if we're talking about mass shootings and like things like that. I mean, if somebody that's been on social media that's been talking crazy about harming others and this, that, and the other, if they actually do it, like, they should get a stiffer crime. I mean, a stiffer punishment for their crime. So, I mean, of course, there's no real way to stop it from happening. Like, that's, other than like making sure people have better mental health. They're doing, I mean, that's the only thing, people are able to not, what I'm saying, but I don't know, a lot of them are getting angry for what? Like, well, some of the manifestos that we've seen, we know it's just over just hatred.
Yeah, so but the point is, how do you find ways to prevent it? You're saying it's impossible to prevent this, so we should just throw our hands up and just allow the world to be the way it is and just get a gun and keep your head down.
Well, I'm hopeful, but I think it's much deeper than us focusing on guns. Everybody wants to focus on the gun than the people. I mean, if it was bow and arrows, like, shit, if that was the tool that they chose to use, I mean, what's gonna keep them from using the bow and arrow? The hammer, like you use all the time. If your tool to fix something is a hammer, everything's gonna look like a nail, and that's what that they use. They pull the hammer out on all the situations. So regardless of what the tool is, what's gonna keep somebody from using whatever tool they decide to use?
Well, okay. Well, let me say this: the conservatives or the Republicans, whenever this happens, they always say mental health, but I don't see them supporting that argument with actual action. You know what I'm saying? Where is the money? Show me the money. Are you putting money into mental health services? Are you allowing people to have access to mental health services? Are you putting forth any kind of effort to improve the mental health of people in the United States? Where is that? They just say, okay, it's not the guns, it's mental health. Okay, well, I'll go with that. So what are you doing to help the mental health of people in the United States? Are you spending any money, or have you increased the money that you've spent? Are you creating more programs? Are you making it easier or more accessible for people to get
I think
mental health help?
Well, you know what? I really think that us as a people, the ones who are spending time around these people to kind of, just like we do self-evaluations, maybe we kind of pay attention to people around us and check on them and talk to them and, see, if there's anything you can do to kind of talk them down for whatever they got going on in their mind. Because, I mean, asking the government to do every little thing isn't going to be the solution. Like, sometimes we as the people have to do shit that's going to help people around us. Like, give a fuck about your neighbor.
Yeah, but do you not agree that something should be done,
Yes,
Something
and
should be
I
done.
just told you what it should be. But that's not good enough because it's not, peeling guns out of people's hands is why it's not satisfiable by liberals or Democrats, because they have another agenda. They just want the guns gone. They want everybody
Yeah,
weakened.
but I just said, like, their argument is the mental health. So if they feel like that,
No,
that
you just
mental
said
health,
you said conservatives and Republicans. So
yeah, their argument every time is, okay, it's not the guns, it's mental health. Okay, fine. Let's say it's not the guns. Then what are the Republicans or the conservatives doing to help mental health? I mean, just talking to your neighbor and friends or whatever is, I mean, I feel you on that, but we need like a conservative, put your money where your mouth is. I need them to show me something, their job is to make laws, make some kind of law to force people to go get mental health or something and pay for it.
But it's more the conservatives that's more reliable or more mature with their guns. It's the other side that gets angry. Like, if you really pay attention, like, it's more of the liberals that get angry and want to hurt people when they don't get their way.
That's not what, like, I'm talking about them making the argument that it's not guns, that it's mental health. And I'm saying I don't see them putting any kind of effort in improving mental health.
All 4 times you said it. I heard you.
I know, but you're saying the liberals this and the liberals that. We're talking about the conservatives and the Republicans right now. What are they
No,
doing?
we're not. I'm not talking about them because we're doing our job. We're doing what we're supposed to do. What about the liberals? The only thing they want to do is take guns out of people's hands in their houses from being able to protect themselves, especially the law-abiding citizens, and just and the people who who do or pretty much have vowed that their life is made a crime, get to keep their guns. How do you fix that? You know what I'm saying? The only solution that they have, no matter every time they do come up with a bill on a way to help with school shootings and protecting our children, the liberals always want to shut that down because they don't want to fix it that way. They want to fix it by taking your shit and your rights.
But the Republicans are saying they can fix it with mental health, but they're not putting no effort in that direction.
Okay, but they can't do it by themselves. Why do these conversations come up when there's when it's when the liberals have the majority? Why don't they have those discussions then?
About mental health?
Or fixing or doing something about the gun issues?
They always do. They always try to bring up the gun issues, and they talk about taking the guns away, and then everyone loses their shit. And they're not even talking about taking all the guns away. They used to have an assault rifle ban in the United States. We had a national assault rifle ban.
You're not new to this country. You know how these people operate because they always start out with just asking for an inch, and then before it's all over, they want a mile. They want a full green mile. They want 10 miles. They don't. They sneak in, and then they start changing definitions of what an assault weapon is, and they slowly walk you down after they get used. You like, all right, whatever, all right, well, we can do that. All right, let's do that. After that, that's when they beat your head in with the other shit, and just because once you give them a little leeway, that's when they just try to rob you of everything else.
I think that happens on both sides.
Maybe, but we're talking about the Democrats right now.
Something has to be done with this, and just saying, let's talk about it is going to lead to us being in the same situation that we're dealing with, and it's actually getting worse.
Tell the people of your party to stop sending people out there to shoot up kids and just people in random because their agenda of taking people's guns away. Do that.
Well, the guy with the mall shooting guy was clearly a right winger. He was clearly a right winger.
I doubt it.
All of this stuff has come out already. Social media, all of that shit.
Yeah, that's what. But they say that all the time. They always blame you. Neo-Nazis are usually liberals.
Okay, let's move on. We're probably gonna come back to this because I have some stuff on it. I don't know what at all, but let's move on to the border. I saw a clip on Instagram where there was a shootout because the governor sent the National Guard or whatever down to the border, like armed troops.
No, they didn't.
They did.
Armed troops.
Armed troops. Yes, I got a clip right here. I'm about to play. And I saw a clip on.
I thought they were sending 1,500 people to help process these immigrants, as many as they could.
No, that's not what's happening. I mean, it's a lot going on. The Title 42 thing ended last night, I want to say. They kept extending it, but it officially ended last night. And actually, the Biden administration is going to immediately implement it more harsher than even the Title 42 was, where it is they have to request asylum in another country before they can come. And they also have to use like an app and all of this stuff. So it's different. And that's why it was a lot of people trying to get through before
midnight.
Yeah. So and that's another reason why they sent the National Guard down there. So I saw a clip though on Instagram where it was a shootout between the cartel and these troopers. I haven't seen the media covering this, but I saw the video myself. I don't know what was happening, but it was a video, and I heard gunfire, and it was gunfire coming from both sides. And this was not no pap pap pap. It was more like rat 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 rat. You know what I mean? Volleys going back and forth.
This wasn't one of them crisis movies that some of these people like to make, right?
No, because this was just a random ass like person was on the scene and they posted it. It wasn't like it didn't even show very much. Like you couldn't barely tell what was going on.
What person? One of the immigrants?
It was a random person on Instagram. This video was real.
On the border. That was on the border.
Yeah, they was at the border. I don't know who posted it.
And it's just some random person that just posted it.
I don't know who posted it, but it was real. It was a real thing that happened. The media didn't pick up on it. I saw it.
I'm not saying it didn't happen, bro. But I'm just like, we got to really pay attention to ask questions, because a lot of these things are put up here for us to believe that there's bigger problems than we can handle or whatever. So I'm not trying to say that it's not, but I've seen enough in my life to know that I can't believe everything that I see.
Well, who knows what the circumstances were of it? It may not have had anything to do with the immigrants at all, you know. But it was cartel exchanging volleys. So, anyways, this one right here, it says, breaking news: Texas National Guard deployed riot gear soldiers to address illegal crossings at the U.S.-Mexico border. Currently, a significant amount of Texas National Guard soldiers outfitted in riot gear has just arrived on the scene at a major significant outfitted riot gear. But it's saying at a major illegal crossing point in Brownsville, Texas, along with new specialized Texas Border Response Force meant to repel mass crossings. Their intended mission is to tackle the issue of mass illegal border crossings between the United States and Mexico as they get ready for Title 42 to expire. So I don't know what they play in this video. Let's see if there's anything. It's just showing them walking. Can y'all see this? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think it's anything in this video that actually, but you can see that, you know, they're suited and booted, and they're down there in Brownsville.
Well, based on the way I heard the story, the 1,500 troops were sent down there to try to help get these a lot of these immigrants, I guess, somewhat legal, you know, or get them processed to some extent.
They're trying to keep them from. I saw a lot of pictures of, they put up a bunch of chicken wire fences and stuff like that at the known crossing points, and they're standing guard and preventing people from getting across. Because, you know, once they get in, we were talking about in the other show, then they can request asylum. But if they don't get to cross, then they can't request asylum. That's how it goes.
Well,
so, you know, Abbott
I know Florida. You see what's going on with Florida, huh?
Well, Florida is finna go through it, man. I don't know if I have something on that. I'm sure I do, but Florida is going through it already. I saw some pictures of the fields, the farms empty,
the fields,
no workers,
the construction sites, lots of different areas in which, you know, a lot of the immigrants would take work in, or like, at least it looked totally empty. Like, I mean, you know, like I said, some of these things could be staged, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't leave any I try to leave some room for error, shall I say? But yeah, nah, it was like pretty much bare. Like
Yeah, they
most of the
finna
people who
go.
worked in those industries just they're gone. And then I mean, and even if all of them were not like illegal or whatever, like the ones who are legal don't show up either because it's like shit. Ain't nobody here to help me do none of this shit. I'm not about to build a house by myself or all these because it was like a whole neighborhood I saw that was in the process of getting built.
Yeah, so this is gonna hurt Florida in the long run, and I think that they're gonna end up having to step back on this because they ain't gonna find people to do these jobs, and that's really like the argument. Like it's so crazy because they
Well,
want the labor, but they want to use this political tool of like, oh, we don't want no illegals over here or whatever. So like, DeSantis is he's really trying to he wants to be like the main
he
enforcer
want he
of
want he
this.
want he wants to be the president.
Yeah.
So he's doing all kind of these political stunts in order to, because I mean, and I still do see it where he's being reactionary. Like I mean, a lot of the stuff that he has done is based on him trying not to be overran. And of course, like if you have made a vow to protect the citizens and there's people coming in, we don't know who they are. I mean, to what extent, like I mean, what part of your job is more important, to try to make sure that your people is protected, or you know that you're still making money? You want both. So I know, like you know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of a tough way to, the thing to have to choose.
Yeah, I think that Florida is gonna hurt. They're gonna be hurting as a result of this big time.
Well, especially with them being because truckers are not going through there either, right? There's
No,
a
I
lot
didn't
of
hear that.
there's a lot of truckers that's deciding not to go down there as well because I mean the law that they putting in place, is pretty much like, like as Florida being it's a standalone country, and if you're not a citizen of Florida, you can be kicked out. And I don't think it's going as far as some people saying, because they're saying like if you don't have a Florida driver's license, you can't come through Florida. But what I don't know if it would help me out to go, because I mean I can pretty much go anywhere because of my status. But regardless of me having a Texas license or not, but either way, it's just like, yeah, I think he might have gone a little too far. But you know, when you're negotiating, sometimes you do have to, be willing to lose in order to get other people to be a little more fair, or for them, sometimes it goes this far.
Yeah, well, we're gonna see. They're gonna lose big time, I
was
think.
adopted by Ronald Reagan's son.
Hold on. I lost it. Hold on. I had the article. Here it is. Yahoo News. Why is my screen looking like this? Let's refresh this thing. Okay, people aren't showing up to work. South Florida workers. What happened to my article? Hold on, y'all. Give me a second. Let me refresh this page. It's doing something weird. Florida. Hold on, y'all. Why am I freezing up? I want to play this down. Hold on, y'all. What the hell is my screen doing? Florida immigration law. Okay, Florida new immigration law creates panic in agricultural. This is Fox 29 did this one.
Well,
Hold
you
on.
know, you sometimes remind me about the political theater, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible that every time, because I mean, everybody's got to play their part, and because you are a, um, not you personally, but let's just say, like, let's say you are a conservative, you have to lean more to the keep the immigrants out, or that thing where it's probably they've already accepted that these people have to come because of the decisions that they've made that's forcing these people out of their own homes that they were comfortable in. You know what I'm saying? Like, or before the beginning of all these things. Because I mean, like I said, I do like try to play different scenarios on how these things play out, but I think you know just as well as I do that I mean these people are on the run from their own countries because of, or most likely because of something our government has done, or some problems that was created by us. Well, I say us, but by our government that we allowed to make do all of the bullshit that they do. But I feel like these people already know what to expect, and to continue to have us, talking shit to each other and arguing and saying who's right, who's wrong, taking a side is just one of those things that keeps us splitting, you know, dividing, and the divide and conquer play.
Well, that's definitely part of it. Let me read some of this. It says Florida new immigration law creates panic in agricultural community. It says among the new law provisions, it says tougher penalties for knowingly hiring or transporting undocumented in the state. E-verify employment screening for new hires at businesses with 25 or more employees. Florida hospitals will collect immigration status, and the state will no longer recognize outside driver's licenses for undocumented. Florida's migrant relocation program also gets another 12 million after previously flying nearly 50 undocumented from Texas to Martha's Vineyard. However, from farming to construction, the law is expected to have a wide-ranging impact on a number of industries vital to Florida's economy. WPTV is told that some farm workers are already too scared to go to work and are considering leaving the state, which could cause a huge staffing crisis for Florida agriculture. It says everybody's in a panic. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Immigration attorney Gina Frega said the new law is causing concerns for the agricultural community. I've been hearing that probably they will not be sending their kids to school, and they're afraid to go to work, and it is sad. Denise Negron, the executive director of Farm Work Coordinating Council of Palm Beach County. The new bill requires employers with 25 or more employees to use E-Verify system to check legal status, and those who fail to comply will be fined $1,000 per day. This is the people that we have to think about. Thanks to them, we have food on our tables, Negron said. Agriculture and farm work is a job that nobody wants to do. During a Thursday fundraiser gala for the Farm Worker Coordinating Council, Negron said she's worried for the organization's future as they work to provide social and human services to farm workers. Obviously, they're very worried because they could be fined, they could be imprisoned by just transporting farm workers that maybe they don't have the specific documents they need right now, Frega said. Frega said an issue right now is immigration has a backlog of more than 10 months to get a work permit. So their employees have told them, unfortunately, after June 1st, if you don't bring some documentation that's valid, unfortunately, you're going to be let go. According to the Migration Policy Institute, nearly 800,000 undocumented people live in Florida. Frega said that the industries that will be most impacted will be the farming industry, construction, and hospitality. That's the end of it. So basically, construction, restaurants, and
Construction, agriculture, so produce,
yeah,
and I guess that's really that's the biggest part, I think. But also, like I said, they didn't really mention the truckers, but and I think some people may have misconstrued some of that because they're saying that they're not accepting some people are looking at it out of state driver's license as a whole. No, it's actually immigrants. Like if you're not a U.S. citizen, if you got a driver's license of another state, they won't accept it. But
let me play this. If they let me.
Others may not want to do or are able to do. But a new immigration crackdown by the Florida legislature and Governor Ron DeSantis is now making it harder for them to live and work in the state.
And even though the policy is not yet in effect, CBS News Miami's Gabriel Arzola shows us how it has already shaken the undocumented community along with employers they work for.
A recent survey from the Migration Policy Institute says there are around 800,000 undocumented immigrants right here in the state of Florida, many taking jobs like construction and agriculture, but that may not be for long. Around South Florida, labor workers are becoming more and more scarce by the day, according to some employees.
People aren't showing up to work because they're scared of being deported.
And critics say Senate Bill 1718 is to blame.
None of the desk, Mr. Speaker.
According to the bill, businesses could face up to a $10,000 fine per undocumented employee, and the state could revoke their license. For construction workers like Jose, he says half of the workers are already gone.
Many workers are leaving thinking they're going to be deported, so they're going to other states.
The bill also includes hospitals. Each facility that accepts Medicaid has to submit that person's immigration status. According to the Florida governor's website, taxpayers paid more than $226 million in healthcare costs for undocumented migrants last year. Now, working migrants like Juan say they're being threatened daily.
We are being treated like delinquents. They talk about ICE and police, and everything here is just really uncomfortable right now.
With the tens of thousands of migrants coming through the Texas border, Governor DeSantis says this bill should deter illegal immigrants from coming to Florida. But for those that are already here, like Maria, she says she'll stay, pray, and continue to work to help her family in hopes that she won't be deported.
Working hard to help my family seems impossible, but I just have to pray to God that everything works out.
The bill still needs to be signed by the governor, but once that happens, this law will take effect July 1st. I'm Gabrielle Arzola, CBS News, Miami.
As the Title 42 immigration policy ends on Thursday, the Biden administration is getting ready to introduce sweeping new restrictions for migrants. CBS News has learned that under the new policy, migrants who cross the southern border without authorization will be ineligible for asylum. That's unless they can prove they requested asylum in another country. The rule does not apply to unaccompanied children. Migrants will also need to pass interviews with heightened standards than the ones used today. Those who can't prove they're eligible face deportation and a 5-year banishment from the U.S. The full policy is expected to be published tomorrow.
Obviously, we got termites.
Well, first thing is, you got to know what they're biting on.
Yeah.
This aged birchwood is perfect for the big ones this time.
Anyways, you want to make comments? You there? You there, Pat? Did I lose you?
yeah, no, I'm here. Was kind of. You kind of lost me for a second, but not.
What's
I
up,
was doing
Doc?
something else for a second.
What's up, Doc? How you feeling?
Doc Strange.
Yeah, I see.
We can't hear you. having your mic on.
That's the problem. Got to plug the speakers. Actually, plug the speakers into the. There we go.
Oh.
Yeah, that works a lot better.
So how's things going, man?
The usual suckage, you know. Say I'm still, you know, every morning I'm still doing the determination on whether or not gravity is a myth and the Earth just sucks.
Yeah. We was talking about the Florida immigration bill and how the people aren't going to work. In Florida's the agriculture fields are empty. The construction work is halted. What do you think about that, Doc?
I think I haven't had a chance to stop at any time and look into the actual ads and stuff like that. So I'm not going to take it as a spin toward anything.
Well, he passed the law. He passed the immigration bill.
Well, again, I don't know enough details about it. An immigration bill can mean a lot of different things.
Well, it means that I was just reading the article. You could get in trouble for moving migrants or whatever. The employers can get fined $10,000. They can get fined $1,000 a day. You know, all of this stuff. They can't use out-of-state driver's licenses if they're immigrants. And the employees are asking, the employers asking for papers.
Actually, they can use out-of-state driver's license, but not one that comes from a state where they can get a driver's license without being a citizen. I remember that. I've seen some memes, and I remember that being one of the points. It's like if we were to move to there with a Texas license, we'd have no problems. Actually, yeah, we'd have no problems. But if they were to move there from California, they may not accept that as an ID. See, I still remember about 20 years ago when people started losing their minds about allowing bank accounts for people with no IDs. Because there was a big string of really brutal robberies amongst the migrant community. So they started letting them put the money in the banks, and then the migrants would just send a credit card back down to wherever their home country was, and their family could draw directly out of their account. That was one of the things 20 years ago. So like 20 years ago, I want to say.
Yeah.
I think it was 90s or late 90s, mid 90s to early 2000s. I think that was.
Yeah. And earlier we talked about how Abbott sent the Texas National Guard down to the border. You heard about that, right?
I told you I've been completely out of touch, man.
Yeah, well, it's a lot going on.
We've lost two servers. We lost two servers the week before Mother's Day. I've been getting my ass handed to me.
Yeah, I was at work all day today. I'm freaking tired. Yeah, so anyway, but this is Title 42. You heard about Title 42 going out, right? It went out last night, I want to say.
Okay, so from what all I've been able to catch so far is Title 42 expired, and Potato has slept through the job again.
Well, that's not true because that's absolutely not true because he actually they got stricter laws now. There's more strict than Title 42. That's the reason why there was like a mad rush to the border. They was trying to get across before these new laws came into play.
That's probably the part where they're saying he handled it badly. Because the meme I saw and the little clip I saw did show the rush
Yeah, so there's a
Dude,
it was a
it's like it was like a mall at Black Friday.
yeah, it was definitely a rush on the border because the people knew, but
green card Monday. It's better than
because
Black
now,
Friday.
yeah, because
Hey,
now they
if
have
you for the first 3 that make it, we give you a full green card. No, we're not going to go green card. We're going to go full citizenship.
well, now they have a lot less opportunities to
On pay-per-view to watch that.
to get asylum. So Trump is actually, I mean, Biden is actually being more hardcore than Trump was when he was in. That's what's actually happening.
Say hello.
So
get down now.
A lot of the talking points online are people trying to say that it's an open border down there, but during the time that Biden's in there. And I think that because of the election coming up, Biden wants to appear to be hard on immigration. So he's being more hardcore than Trump is, actually. That's what's actually really happening. That's why you had the rush to the border, because the laws were changing. The other thing that happened this week was the CNN town hall with Trump. Did y'all hear anything about that? Y'all didn't hear nothing about that?
Nope. Like I said, you're catching me at I haven't had time to do crap. Say my one day off this week involved me having to spend all of the day spending $200 to get a tire changed.
Well, CNN is catching a lot of. They did like a live town hall with Trump, and it was a ratings grab, trying to save the damn network or whatever. And I'm sure they got plenty of ratings, and freaking made lots of money off of it, because it's a lot of clips from it has gone viral, and so CNN is catching a lot of flack from outside of the network and from inside, because they're like they let Trump talk and they didn't fact check him while he was talking, and he was able to say all this stuff, and and then the audience was laughing and cheering and like supporting him with a lot of the stuff that he was saying, and they said that they didn't expect the audience to be on Trump's side and all of this stuff or whatever. Like, it basically got completely out of control. They didn't manage it very well at all. Let me play some of it right here.
You remember they said I was building prisons for children. It turned out that it was Obama that was building
But
the
would you
prisons for the
re-implement
children.
that if you're reelected? Is
Well,
that what you're saying?
we have to save our country, all right? We
So it
can't
sounds like
afford,
that's a yes.
No. When you say to a family that if you come, we're going to break you up, they don't come. And we can't afford to have any more. Look at New York City. Look what's happening. They're living in Central Park in New York City. The city is being swamped. Los Angeles is being swamped. Iowa is being swamped. Our whole country is being destroyed. Millions of people are coming into our country. And you know what the number is going to be, in my opinion, by the end of the year? Not the 4 million that you hear and the 3 million. I think it's going to be 15 million people. And in these people, they have no idea where they come from. They come from 129 different countries so far. 120,
Mr.
not just the
President,
4 that we talked
Just to
about.
put a button on that, it sounds like what you're saying is that you're not ruling out re-implementing that immigration policy. I want to get to another voter. Caitlin Boissonneau is a student.
Yeah, so it says, this is on family separations. Would you re-employ that if you were elected? Trump says, we have to save our country. Collins says, so it sounds like that's a yes. Trump, when you say to your family that if you come here, we're going to break you up, they don't come. So that's one of the clips that went. viral about that topic. Man, I'm trying to hold it together here, y'all. Not helping me.
I'm less inclined to speak right now.
Let me see. What else do I got? The other thing that was happening, you know, Palestinian and Israel shot rockets. They're shooting back and forth. There's a new wave of fighting.
So it's Thursday again.
Yeah, it's a new wave of fighting that's happening over there. The Iron Dome isn't working as well as they thought it would or it should or whatever. And a lot of rockets are making it through. So you're having casualties on both sides. Of course, most of the casualties are on the Palestine side, but they're getting some rockets through, and it has been some casualties on the Israeli side. I don't want to play no clips from that. That stuff is just terrible. Oh, this is what I was talking about earlier. This is photos of the aftermath of the shootout between cartel and Mexican troops at the FAR Reynosa International Bridge at the U.S.-Mexico border. The shootout occurred earlier today and greatly contributed to today's chaos at the border. Do they have anything else on this? I saw this on Instagram. I didn't see this on Twitter. Oh, wait, here's this clip. So these are the little clips. Like what actually happened with this, I don't know. This is strange right here. Because it just so happened that the troops, the National Guard was sent down there to the border, and then we had all of these crazy stuff happening. Let's read some comments. It says, these pictures were sent to me directly by someone local to the area where the shooting took place.
Now, it looks to me like the dates on that happened before the Guard got sent down there. Maybe the Guard was sent in response to it. You know, not official response to it, but hey, you know, let's have some troop maneuvers down there just in case something bad goes on.
The date does say that. I didn't catch that. Yeah, that's kind of, yeah. Let's read some comments. It says, OMG.
It's a little
Nick.
different spin on that decision to put some Guard down there, too.
Yeah, it would actually kind of make sense. Yeah, I'm losing it. Let's play this.
Biden family was taking bribes from corrupt Fox News alert, explosive new evidence that the Biden family was taking bribes from corrupt foreign nationals while Joe Biden was vice president. Here's House Oversight Chairman James Comer.
The committee is concerned by the complicated, suspicious network of over 20 companies we have identified the Bidens and their associates used to enrich themselves. Most of these companies were limited liability companies formed during Joe Biden's vice presidency. The bank records show the Biden family, their associates, and their companies received over $10 million from foreign nationals.
$10 million to the Biden family, and nobody can tell us what the Biden family business is. No one. And 20 different shell companies. That sounds legit. And it wasn't just money from China or Ukraine. Money was coming in from everywhere.
While Vice President Biden was lecturing Romania on anti-corruption policies, in reality, he was a walking billboard for his son and family to collect money. the Bidens received over $1 million for the deal. And 16 of the 17 payments to their associates' account that funneled the Biden's money occurred while Joe Biden was vice president. In fact, the money stops flowing from the Romanian national soon after Joe Biden leaves the vice presidency.
Kind of like the Clinton Foundation. The money just stops flowing once she's not going to be in charge. So corrupt foreigners were funneling millions into the Biden family while Joe Biden was lecturing them about foreign corruption. What a racket. Fly to a corrupt country, tell them to clean up their act, and then everybody who's corrupt sends the Bidens money for protection. That's how it works. All these corrupt countries have dirt on the Bidens. The whole world now has the United States by the Bidens. So when Joe says he takes orders as president, it makes sense. But setting up 20 shady shell companies to launder foreign cash too, and then spreading it out to your entire fam in order to hide it from the IRS, that's called money laundering. It's called tax evasion. It's called corruption. And this oversight committee is full of bankers, and bankers kind of know fraud when they see it.
Cycling through this many companies serves no legitimate purpose. And as somebody who actually worked in banking, I did that long before I came here. Whenever there was like this many companies just laying all over the place, and you see wire transfers and cashier checks over here going to random members of the family for no apparent purpose at the size and velocity at which all of this was being conducted, the only logical conclusion of a financial professional is you are concealing money.
So Mr. Pay Your Fair Shares family has been hiding money from the IRS for a decade. But the Bidens are a big family. They have lots of bills to pay, and nobody wants to work. So it's not just Biden's two brothers, four fingers in the chin, or his dirty son Hunter. Foreign nationals pouring money into Joe Biden's extended family.
Joe Biden's brother's wife, Hunter Biden's girlfriend or Beau Biden's widow, Hunter Biden's ex-wife, Hunter Biden's current wife, and 3 children of the president's son and the president's brother. So we're talking about a grandchild. That's odd.
Yeah, that is odd. Why is a Romanian real estate tycoon paying Joe Biden's granddaughter? Did she draw him a picture? Why are the Chinese spies paying Biden's grandchildren's college tuition? And
Is there another budding artist in the family?
Louis Freeh is getting paid by the same corrupt Romanian tycoon, and Freeh's paying for Joe Biden's grandkids' college tuition too. $100,000. So the former FBI director is paying off the Bidens, and the current FBI director is covering up for the Bidens. And the last 5 CIA directors are helping the Bidens win elections. So the feds have Joe by the Bidens. He's a mark, and he does what he's told, obviously. James Comer has only gotten records from, you ready, 4 banks. And he says there's a total of 12 banks. So we're really just getting started on the Biden bribe scandal. Only 4 banks so far, and we've already gotten $10 million in bribes, 170 suspicious wire transfers flagged by Treasury, with 9 Bidens later, and no one can show us what the Biden business is. There's no website, there's no building, there's no products, there's no business. It's all bribes. All of them are bribes. Hunter tells us it's just good faith seed money, but he doesn't say what the seed money's for. Can it even get more obvious than this?
One thing everybody in this room and the American people definitely know is that the Biden family doesn't really have a business. There is no business structure around this family except politics. And the family's getting money from various countries and foreign businesses through various shell companies and this web of LLCs. I mean, guys, you in the press, this is easy pickings. I'm giving you Pulitzer stuff here. Like, all you have to do is literally look at our memo.
Remember when
they always use a black guy for stuff like this. So anyways, what do you think about this story? Y'all there?
Kind of sounds like stuff I've been babbling about for a while. Say it's all coming around. The money, there are people following the money. There are people following the money.
Yeah, I think we
got to wait a little bit to see more of it, because it could it could get him popped from office because this was taking place while he was vice president. I don't think he has the immunity of the president's office like he normally would, for shady stuff going on while he's in office.
Well, I don't think anything's going to come of this. I saw a story where they said Biden is he's suing somebody as a result of this. He's suing, damn it, I don't want to say it wrong. Yeah, I don't think anything's going to come of this, but I think that as far as corruption in our government, I don't think that there's much of an argument for, to say that it's not.
Well, we've watched the whole Hunter situation, and just the Hunter situation alone, we all know something funky's going on. I mean, we do. I mean, the extent of it and the depth of it, that will be for the accountants and the lawyers and the judicial branch to really investigate. Say, all we can do is guess and suppose, but you don't have 20 shell companies unless you are indeed playing a shell game. And the nature of the shell game is to hide the ball being the money. I mean, there could also be some reasonable, we transfer money from this account to this account because this account is based in this country, which has a different exchange rate, which we then change it over to there, and it makes a different exchange rate over here, so it makes it better over here. There are ways of explaining a network of shell companies like that. But, yeah, you don't have 20 shell companies unless something funny's going on.
Yeah.
You only need maybe, I want to say 12 or 13.
Only 12 or 13.
Well, to be able to shift money around the globe on an internal corporate situation without having to go through a lot of freaky protocols, if you need it quickly, about 12 or 13 will do it.
Only 12 or 13.
Well, like I say, that's to get your best exchange rates in different countries and finance deals in different areas without having to pay the, transfer fee or even be able to do it in a money that they'll take in that country. I mean, I am leaning in an explanation of a way that allows for it to potentially be a legitimate business. Bullshit. Sorry, a little cough in my throat there. I think it's reality caught in the back of my throat. Bullshit. Yeah. Truthfully, about 4 or 5 little shell companies are all you need on that level. Well, I don't know. When I'm saying a level, I'm only talking about $3 to $5 million. These guys are talking 10 and more. If they've only found 10 now, there's more. There's 20 to 40 million just up in the air with the whole pre-laptop situation.
So this is a clip right here showing video of, it says breaking, a huge group of migrants has just been apprehended by Border Patrol after illegally crossing into El Paso from Ciudad Juarez. Many migrants have shared that they are trying to cross the U.S. before the end of Title 42 to avoid having to be processed under the Title 8, which will make it harder for them to seek asylum status. So these are pictures showing a lot of people. And that's that they put up like chicken wire temporary fences down there. They wasn't there before.
Oh, gee, all of a sudden fences and walls are a good idea? Oh, that's kind of funny.
Well, when you have somebody standing on the other side of it,
Well, like I said, it's just another form. They're not being realistic about, they're saying, oh, walls, oh, ladders, and like, oh, human psychology, oh, path of least resistance, oh, sending people instead of having to patrol 1,800 miles of barrier, funneling people toward smaller areas. There's a lot of logic behind walls and stuff like that. I mean, at the same time, I personally think that they should just have the border could be a considered training zone for, well, they wouldn't be able to do it with the Army because you can't deploy the Army, but National Guard training area in practicing escape and evasion and stuff like that. Now, mind you, they're not going to be treating as enemies and stuff like that, but hey, they can spot them and stuff like that for the border patrol and stuff. Meanwhile, our guys are getting trained in how to spot things and stuff like that, and we have better, people patrolling. Problem is, what's going to happen when those cartel guys start shooting at those copters? What would the rules of engagement be for the National Guard being shot at by criminals or by cartel people across the border, or even just on this side of the border? We know what the protocol would be. They would be able to defend themselves against live fire within our borders. But these guys stand around with sniper rifles and stuff like that and take shots at stuff all the time, literally.
Yeah, I just think that they should do more with their own laws related to asylum and stop politicizing the border so much. Let's do some more of this Trump stuff.
Numbers just came out. They went up.
A Manhattan jury found that
Sure.
you sexually abused the writer E. Jean Carroll and defamed her. You've denied this. But what do you say to voters who say it disqualifies you from being president?
Well, there aren't too many of them because my poll numbers just came out. They went up. Okay. I think I'm the only person in history who had a charge like that. And usually you leave office, you say, I'm sorry, but I'm going back home. I'm back home to my family and everything. I'm going to be resigned. My poll numbers went up, and they went up with the other fake charge too. Because what's happening is they're doing this for election interference. This woman, I don't know her. I never met her. I have no idea who she is. I had a picture taken years ago with her and her husband, nice guy, John Johnson. He was a newscaster, very nice man. She called him an ape, happens to be African American, called him an ape. The judge wouldn't allow us to put that in. Her dog or her cat was named Vagina. The judge wouldn't allow to put that in. All of these things, but with her, they can put in anything. Access.
They OJ'd him on that one.
What do you mean?
They found him not guilty in all criminal problems and charges, yet the civil one, they found him guilty and wanted him to pay.
Yeah.
Like I say, they OJ'd him on that one. And yes, I use that as a verb. It qualifies. Kind of like the way things are going right now, our entire country is about to get Enron.
Let me play this. It says
That doesn't mean a lot to people that don't come from Houston, though. But anyone that comes from Houston understands how Enron can be used as a verb.
I think that was pretty national, though. The Enron thing was.
The news was, but the effect of it, we know about that.
Yeah, it really did.
It crushed a lot of money from here for a while.
Yeah. Really
and a lot of faith in Houston companies.
Yeah, it really did. So this one, it says CNN did a poll. These are Republican and undeclared voters. It says, show of hands, anybody think Donald Trump looks better after this town hall? Any of you think he looks worse? Any of you think the same thing you did about him when he walked in? Let's see how much of this do they actually show.
To vote, but that's what they have in common, and most of them are Trump supporters. What I want to ask you first of all is, do you think, show of hands, anybody think Donald Trump looks better after this town hall? Any of you think he looks worse? Any of you think the same thing about him as you did when you walked in? So all of you feel that way. First thing I want to ask you about, Donald Trump to vote.
So it didn't change.
Yeah.
Basically.
So far, I'm about the same from it, too. I mean, I know he's a jackass. I know he's a New York
Manhattan jury found that you
businessman
sexually.
that came up during the time of the 80s when it was a cutthroat, nasty business. I mean, I don't like the guy, never have. I think he didn't get a fair shake at doing what he needed to get done and trying. But I also think that he's tainted. I think that there will be so much controversy if he gets elected that it will completely stop the process of him being able to get anything done.
Our politics is a huge mess. Let me play this.
What's
You
the
mind?
answer?
Do you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple to. You're a nasty person, I'll tell you.
She is.
Can you
I don't
answer
like
why
her.
you-
Very
Why you
simple.
held on to the documents?
I was negotiating and we were talking to Nara.
What's
you
the
mind?
answer?
Do you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple to. You're a nasty person, I'll tell you.
See, that's a bad thing. It says Trump attacks Collins. You are a nasty person.
Yeah.
That's more like he responds to her attitude. That's almost defends himself.
Yeah, I
mean,
didn't see it. So
that
I
was
think-
some of the just what she said right there. I mean, that is not how you conduct an interview. I mean, she was there to fight, not to ask questions and talk.
Yeah.
She was waiting for gotcha moments and gotcha comments, waiting to throw a negative hit, a hit here and a hit there in.
Yeah, well, you could. I mean, it seems like they would have learned that you can't really do that. It doesn't work with Trump. Like he's really good at like turning the stuff around. You see how he had the audience on his side.
Dude, he's one of those New York guys. He's everyone thinks he's rude and stuff like that, and he's mean, but he's not. He's blunt. It's like, I'm going to get my message across. If it hurts your feelings, yeah, so fucking what? You know? Get a tougher skin. Grow some balls. I'm just busting your balls. You know, he's got that New York, you got it. You actually have to stop every now and then, because I work with a guy from New York, and there's a couple of times I was just getting pissed because I thought he was talking down to me, and I finally said, dude, you don't have to talk down to me. And he's like, oh, I'm not, man. And I'm like, oh, wait. And I just realized, I'm like, man, you're from New York. You're not talking down from me. You're just being short. You know, we consider it kind of being a dick here because, you know, we look at someone that we want to murder dead in the eye and say, aren't you just special, sweetheart? And they don't do that in New York. They look at you and go, yeah, fuck you. So, you know, that's what a lot of people don't get. He's not a nice guy, but he is just a guy if you listen to him. If you can understand that, if you can take out where he's not intentionally being a dick, it's just kind of a side effect of the way he's speaking. You understand that, and I got a lot less pissed at some of the things he said because I thought a lot of remember the reporter guy, the reporter guy that was had palsy or something like that, shook a little, and he got up and he was saying stuff, and he said something that was a lie, or was asking about some stuff that was about Hillary's and about lying and stuff, and he's 45 started going, oh well, lie, and that's the way, then the lie starts, and blah blah blah, and everyone said that he was making fun of the reporter. And while I will say that it was absolutely bad taste to do it at that exact moment, I also remember 8 or 10 times before that, when someone was lying, that he would put his hands up and start going, well, blah, 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 yeah, and start doing that little mocking gesture and stuff. I mean, I really think he doesn't think ahead about how it might look, sound, or affect, that he just kind of says it. Because he's always been rich and powerful enough that it's like, here, I'm going to say it. If you don't like what I say, fine. Don't do business with me. Fuck off. I still think he's a jackass, but I understand him better when I realize that about him.
This one shows some of the clips from the job site. So it says, I'm dead.
Venimos a checar a Miami, a ver si es cierto y es verdad, mira, no hay trabajadores.
So question, are they outing DeSantis on a bad law, or are they outing all of these businesses that have been using illegal labor to get under the, have been skirting the law and using illegal labor to get by with not having to pay them as much? See, that's something that people aren't beginning to, I don't think, notice about this either. And another thing I'm noticing, it's kind of like the Don't Say Gay bill that never actually said don't say gay. It's not an anti-immigration law. It's a crackdown on illegal immigration. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't affect more than that. I'm just saying the wording of this is something we need to pay attention to. Because it's real easy to cut something to where it says something entirely different.
Fuck. Can y'all hear me now? How long have I been out?
I don't know. I've been rambling the whole time. I hadn't heard you speak in any of that. I was just trying to babble through the quiet.
Can y'all hear me?
I heard you that time.
It's saying I'm coming through.
Now I can hear you. You had yourself muted for a quick minute. And bam, he crashed. All right, so interesting.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you sounded a little distant. It seems like your resources are stretched on your computer.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, you're coming in a little better now.
Okay, what was it doing? I was breaking up, or you couldn't hear me at all?
I couldn't hear you for a little bit. That whole time I was babbling, I couldn't hear you at all. While you were trying to get that stuff pulled up. And then the way you just crashed looks like your resources were stretched
I rebooted just now because I figured something was going on. So I
Yeah,
refreshed.
that should help there, because if you probably just needed to clear some cache out.
Yeah, I refreshed the screen, so
need to get you a little bit more RAM in that thing.
And this show tonight is not working out. I ain't gonna lie. Like my brain is not working. I'm kind of distracted because I'm texting while I was talking to y'all. Oh man, I think I'm gonna. What you want to say?
I was seeing
about Florida. Was he talking about Florida?
Yeah, no, I can't remember what her name was off the hand. I probably shouldn't say it overwords, but one of the girls that we used to work with, whose name I've mentioned before, ran across her. She came to eat, and I know we're both friends with her. She used to work at Outback, and I told her about the show, and she didn't say no or look like she was scared of it. So,
well, it'd be nice to get some females on here.
It'd be nice to get anyone else that doesn't like lose their freaking mind in the middle of a conversation. Say, there's a couple of boys I love that come on here, but man, it is hard to get anything done when we're on with them.
Yeah. And all the testosterone, we need something to balance this shit out a little bit. Man, I think I'm gonna wrap it, bro, because my brain is not working and the show is totally not went the way I wanted to. And I do have to work all day tomorrow, and I worked all day today. I'm tired, and then I had a weird situation, and I kind of want to make a phone call. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna wrap it, and I'm sorry, y'all, but today kind of didn't go the way I wanted to.
Well, it didn't help that we couldn't. Like I said, I've been stuck all week long because we lost two people literally the week before Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And I had two people lined up to come in, and of course, none of them have come in to talk to them. You know, they've got applications in, but it's like, no, they're not going to call you back. They want to see if you want the job or not. Come in.
Yeah.
Come in before we open. Bring a shirt with you, and I guarantee you, they will put you on the freaking floor in training that day.
Well, I'm off Sunday morning, and I probably won't. Hopefully, I can still get some late Mother's Day stuff for Sunday night, but most of it is probably going to be Sunday morning.
Oh no, I'm double. I'm going double on Sunday because
They didn't schedule me a double.
I work at an Italian restaurant that mostly old people go to, so it's going to be a decent. It'll be a decent day.
Yeah, well, it was just beyond my control. I would work a double too on Sunday if I could, but they just scheduled me night, so whatever. I'm gonna wrap it, man. Peace and love. Thank y'all for joining.
That's when you show up at the beginning of the day, and the people there go, "Hey, man, you can go home. I'll take your shift if you want."
Yeah. Anybody want to go home? I doubt if anybody's gonna want to go home because it's gonna be money.
Just tell them, hey, man, it ain't gonna. It's gonna be dead during the day. It's not gonna pick up till later on, man.
They know better than that. That won't work. They know better. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap it, man. I'll be back tomorrow, and I'll probably do a bonus show because this one didn't go the way I wanted to. So I don't know exactly when, but I'm probably gonna do a bonus show. Anyways, peace and love. Thank y'all for joining. Thank y'all for listening. It's a wrap. All right.